Hi everyone, welcome to Doc Hill's study where I help you get ready for your National 5 biology assessments. In this video we'll be walking through questions from an official SQA paper. The paper and the marking guide are both produced by the Scottish Qualifications Authority, the SQA, and all rights to that material belong to them. I'm using these resources strictly for educational purposes here on this non-commercial channel to support students like you in preparing for your exams. I'll be using the SQA's marking guide to highlight what answers are accepted, but keep in mind it usually only shows some of the correct answers and doesn't explain the reasoning behind them. That's where I come in. For each question, I'll walk you through the thinking process, explain what the question is really asking, and point out some of the common pitfalls to avoid. If anything doesn't make sense to you, or you want to ask about a specific point, feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you find this helpful, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future walkthroughs. Let's get started. Okay, we've got an experiment we're going to have a look at. Students investigated the distribution of some organisms on a rocky shore. Starting at the lowest tide level, quadrats were placed every 2 meters along a single transect line and the number of barnacles and mussels were counted. The results are shown in the table. Okay, low tide, quadrat number 1. High tide, quadrant number 10. You always start at low tide in case the tide comes in, right? So anyway, never mind, that's practicalities. Don't need to, well, we might get asked about it. Let's have a look. Number of barnacles, there they are at each of these quadrats. Let's see, can we figure out what's happening? The barnacles are increasing as we go up the shore, and the mussels are decreasing pretty much as we go up the shore from low tide to high tide. Okay, we've got our head around the experiment. Numbers, no percentages so far. Let's see. Calculate the average number of mussels per quadrat. Okay. Probably not a very useful thing to do in the experiment, but we've been asked to do it, so let's do it. So what are we going to do? What we have to do really is make sure we don't get this wrong. There's a lot of numbers here. We're going to make sure we get them all in. So 60 plus 58 plus 55 plus 50 plus 32. Always write it out, because when you come back to scan your paper at the end and check for errors, if you write out your problems, your questions, your solutions, then you will be able to maybe see anywhere you might have made an error, right? So if you write these numbers out here and use these in your calculation, chances are you'll spot any one that you missed. The last quadrat has 0. There's a little trap there too. You got to put that 0 in, and you've got to count it as well for your average. Let's divide that. So the average equals, am I over here? I'm off the page. Average equals all of these numbers here added together divided by the total. We've got 10 quadrats, so it's going to be 10, right? So let's get our calculator out and make sure we don't mess it up. Okay, so on 60. The good thing about these calculators now, 58 plus 55 plus 50 plus 32 plus 30 plus 18 plus 13 plus 4 plus 0 equals 320 divided by 10 equals 32. Okay, before you move on, do it again. These are very easy to make a mistake, but you'll never get the same answer twice if you do it wrong, I think. So make sure you get the same answer twice. So 60 plus 58 plus 55 plus 50 plus 32 plus 30 plus 18 plus 13 plus 4 plus 0 equals 290. I've got that wrong, so I need to do it again. You see exactly? It's very easy to make a mistake in these. Let's try it again. Cancel that. 60 plus 58, 290, remember that was 29. I'm just going to jot that down, 290. Plus 55 plus 50 plus 32 plus 30 plus 18 plus 13 plus 4 plus 0 equals 320. Divide that by 10, 32. 32 is our answer. Now, do that. Always repeat those long calculations. I mean, you should repeat any calculation, really, because if your two answers don't come out the same, you've made a mistake on one of them and you need to check. Okay, it takes very little time to do, really, and it can save you a mark. 8 plus 55 plus 50 plus 32 plus 30. Make sure you're checking. Describe how the reliability of the results could be improved. Okay, here's this other word, reliability. Check my flashcards for the meanings of words. Make sure you're learning them. If it's too late for you to make flashcards, I've got them on my website. It's free. Just go there and use them. It's completely free service for you. All right, you don't have to sign in, no nothing. I'm not collecting any data on anybody. So describe how the reliability of the results, nobody's advertising at you either, could be improved. Reliability means doing more experiments, doing more and more experiments, okay? So there's a number of ways we could increase the reliability of this, We could do more transects in different points in the shore. We could do more quadrats on that transect, that would make it more reliable. We could repeat the investigation completely, but we have to say, what we can't use is the word it, right? You can't say repeat it because it's not specific enough. You've got to say repeat the investigation. But what I'm going to say, carry out more transects. That's the correct way to do these things, because you'll be doing it at different points along a similar shore. You'll get good, reliable data by comparing your transects. You can group the data at various different quadrat numbers. Okay, carry out more transects in the investigation or along the shore. Along the shore. Okay, that should get you the mark. What you can't just do is say repeat it, because it's not specific enough. Okay. Question 12 continued. Another group of students conducted a study of 10 rock pools found along the transect. Oh, exciting. To provide information about the levels of water pollution, samples of water were taken from these rock pools and examined for the presence or absence of certain species. Okay. What name is given to these species? Okay, well, we have to remember our learning about pollution, and species that are very sensitive to pollutants tend to disappear more rapidly from an ecosystem than species that are less sensitive to pollutants. So those species that disappear very rapidly from an ecosystem at very small concentrations of pollutants are called indicator species. Indicator species. And you have to say species, you can't just say indicator. Okay? So you might get away with just saying indicator, because it says species in the question, I guess. So indicator species, in fact, the species in brackets in the marking instructions. So, okay, name the type of factor such as pH that can affect the distribution of organisms living in rock pools. Okay, type of factors such as pH. They haven't given us a lot to go on here, so we have to make the assumption that they're talking about non-biological or abiotic factors. Abiotic factors. Okay, and that's that one. I don't think there's much there to be worried about. Just make sure you do that calculation twice. Very easy to get that wrong. Loses you a mark. If you don't have 32 written there, you will lose a mark. Okay. They can't give you any mark for working out in these questions because there's only one mark available. It's got to be the right number there. Carry out more transects along the shore. There's a variety of things you could write there. Repeat the investigation, repeat the experiment, more quadrats in the transect, any of those. But you can't just say repeat it. And what you can't say anymore is ensure your controls, because that would be about validity. Okay, so there we go. Thanks for watching this walkthrough from Doc Hill Study. I hope it helped you feel more confident about tackling these kinds of questions. Remember, the answers I've used are based on the SQA marking guide, but it's always important to understand the reasoning behind them, not just memorize the words. That's why I focus on the process, not just the final answer. If you've got any questions, or if something didn't quite click, drop a comment below and I'll get back to you. If you found this helpful, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you'll be notified when the next walkthrough goes up. Good luck with your revision, and I'll see you in the next one.